This is Garland and Freetown. Freetown.
Trinidad I come from, but I don't sing about rum.
One soul, your triple meditation.
Father is me right and my mother make me strong.
One soul, your triple meditation.
Love lift me up, tell me who go bring me down.
One soul, your triple meditation.
Standing firm, this new generation.
One soul, your triple meditation.
Check, check, check. Check we ID. We ancestral lineage in the library.
Good morning and welcome back to the Now Morning Show, where we're checking in with our friends at MiLAT as 80 cadets graduated from the program recently. So to give us some insight, or rather, at least 80 students graduated. So to give us some insight, we are joined by the program director, the Lieutenant Naval Anthony Goddard, and the program coordinator, Flight Lieutenant Siobhan Chase, alongside cohort leader Christian Chandri, a recent graduate of the MiLAT program. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the Now.
Good morning. Thank you.
I am thrilled to have this conversation because while I may be familiar with what MiLAT entails, there are tons of persons who can benefit so strongly from programs like this one and others. So I will start with Lieutenant Naval Goddard giving us a little insight as to what exactly MiLAT is so that people can be as excited as I am.
Definition. MiLAT is an academy. It's an institution of change. You call it a social intervention program. It offers scholarships to 100 persons, 100 young men between the ages of 16 to 20 once every year. Now I'm saying scholarships because that's what we believe it is. We target any young person as a national that is wanting of changing their lifestyle, regardless of what we may think that lifestyle is to them. We want that they are willing to embrace change in a positive direction.
Okay, I like that. When we talk about changes, though, it means that academics is at the forefront. But tell me a little bit as to what that actually looks like, the structure, if you will, of the program itself as coordinator, Lieutenant Chase.
So we start with an induction phase of training, which is where the quasi-military environment really takes its foothold. We provide for them structure and stability, which helps to lay the foundation for them as they move into the academic phase of training. We have a myriad of cadets coming in from different backgrounds, and we want to level the playing field for them during that first phase of training, so that by the time they get into the classrooms, they are ready to, take in everything that they would be exposed to in terms of learning.
Now, Christian, you can give us first-hand accounts of what that experience was like. In terms of going into a military space altogether, I know there'll be certain levels of discipline that we may not be familiar with as citizens. Tell me what your initial feelings were like and how it ended up.
Well, when I first registered for the program, I was like, this is going to be difficult. And I thought that to myself, I told that to my mom. But my mom, she guided me and she told me this is going to be a really good decision. You're going to be very proud in the end. And she was right. As I started the program, things were tough. It was a bit hard for me to get along with everybody else. Socializing is not really my type of thing. However, I got along with everyone successfully. And we just got through the training phase. We stuck to it. We understood that to be successful in the end, I need you, you need me, and we guide each other through everything.
That is beautiful, and I hope you can say that to all of the adults around you as well, because sometimes we tend to forget that. Hear me, like I'm an adult. Anyway. Now, in terms of the program itself, I was saying, well, from my reading, at least 80 persons have graduated. You did mention that they take in at least 100, but tell me, what is the process of that graduating? What sorts of requirements do they have to meet to be able to successfully complete the program?
Okay. Well, 87 students or cadets graduated on Friday the 6th. In terms of criteria, a national, must be a national of Trinidad and Tobago, must be within the age of 16 to 20. We also conduct what is what we call a psychosocial examination. Now that is geared towards assessing and preparing a personalized lesson plan for persons that may have been exposed to other social ills or what have you. We also ask that persons have up to the level of a Form 2 level of education, although that is not a make or break in terms of the decision for actual application. We also ask that they be physically fit. You know, we carry you most of the way, but we ask that a lot of the work that we put in, we have some sort of a baseline.
Yeah. See myself being ruled out with little things, but granted though that this is specifically targeting young men at the moment,
Yes.
the question always comes up, will there be or is there an equivalent for young women? And will the requirements be the same, especially in terms of that physical requirement? So perhaps you can shed a little light, Lieutenant Chase, in terms of coordinating a second program for young ladies?
So we obviously want to be able to provide to all young people the same opportunities, and the program has been successful in treating with young men for as long as it has been in existence. The Ministry of Youth Development and National Service has indicated their desire and their willingness to provide the same program to young ladies of the same age group. So we are just poised, ready and waiting for, I guess, the time when all the conditions are set for that to happen successfully.
And speaking of success, because this is heavily academic with, of course, other facets to your measure of success, as we were saying before, what sort of values or literal statistics do we have in terms of CSEC pass rates and actual academics that we can speak to on this program?
Well, at this point, MiLAT has experienced their best ever CSEC results since its inception in 2007. We've had 43 of our cadets attaining full certificates. We've had 23 of our cadets attaining 4 passes. We have 7 cadets attaining 6 passes. Now that is astonishing, considering what persons that would have entered the program, some of who may not have finished secondary school, some of who would have lacks in terms of their education, and some of who would have social issues in terms of where their background is and how much and how high of a level of education they would have attained. Now for us, we always look at academic passes, yes. Well, we also look at how we shape young men. As young Chandri said, socializing was a bit of a challenge for him. And it may be an uncomfortable position, but it's necessary. And hence you see him, he seems sitting here now, slightly nervous, but he's speaking to you quite openly.
He is, and I'm going to make him speak some more, because in terms of that focus on academics and then that well-roundedness, again, you can attest to that better than anyone. Yeah. What do you think was your biggest takeaway having joined the program, or your greatest success?
My greatest success would have been training with everyone, yet still standing out and feeling uncomfortable at the same time, but standing out and showing great persistence and dedication to my education, my studies, where everything was concerned. There were nights where I felt like, hey, this work very difficult, but because of the discipline that was instilled in me in my training phase, it actually helped me a lot and helped me stick to it.
Let me tell you, just take Christian everywhere and just let him talk to everybody. Because he's actually very honest, and I appreciate your candor in terms of difficulty and challenges. Oftentimes you will hear persons talk about that or shy away altogether as if it doesn't exist even as adults. So to talk about the adversity and overcoming it gives a lot of hope and a lot of possibility for those who may be interested in joining the program as well, and for future cohorts of young ladies who may become MiLAT graduates as well. Fingers crossed on that one. I'm actually quite excited to see that develop. So in that case, Naval Anthony Goddard, tell me a little bit as to what the next cohort should look forward to in terms of registration times, any sorts of requirements, and perhaps some tips, if you can add as well, Chase, Lieutenant Chase, to help the next cohort get prepared. We'll start with you.
Well, we have already started recruiting. Our recruiting process goes year-round. Applicants can apply anytime, online or in person. We are now implementing the junior cadets who actually joined in January of this year. And they are now going into the academic phase in time with the rest of the school system.
And in terms of what they can do to prepare, any tips they can share, Lieutenant Chief?
In terms of preparation, to make your application process smoother, try to have a national identification card. If you have a bank account, that would also help. A national insurance number. These are some of the administrative hindrances that new cadets tend to face. So if you have those things prepared at the point of application, it makes your process a bit smoother. And also establish a purpose. Determine why you want to join the program, what you want to get out of it. A lot of times we see parents, being the catalyst for why young men join the program. And that's a good place to start. Sometimes you need that advice, you need that voice of wisdom to give you direction. But once you get there, understand what it's about. And as Chandri said, don't allow the difficulty to deter you. It's going to require a bit of sacrifice, and it pays off in the end.
Sounds like you did a fine job with Chadri and others, so congratulations on the successes of the cohort that recently graduated on the 6th of September, was it? And I look forward to another check-in as we continue to successfully increase those numbers in future cohorts as well. Anything you'd like to add in closing, just because you're such an exemplary cadet and graduate, Mr. Chandri?
To the young men out there that have MiLAT in mind, I advise you, take the opportunity, it pays off.
Perfection. And on that note, we say thank you very much for joining us. Of course, he is the cohort leader, Mr. Christian Chandri, the recent graduate of the MiLAT program, alongside Flight Lieutenant Siobhan Chase, the program coordinator for MiLAT. And again, we say thank you very much to Lieutenant Naval Anthony Goddard, the program director, who all joined us this morning to give us some insight on the fantastic work that MiLAT is doing. Stay tuned to the morning show. We've got more that you're going to be inspired by after these messages.
Standing firm, this new generation.
Meditation.
Trinidad I come from, but I don't sing about rum.